please. Anna, can you introduce yourself, please?
Bonjour, I'm Anna Heringer. I'm an architect living at the Austrian-German border in Laufen, and I strongly believe that architecture is a tool to improve lives.
Can you speak about your career, the starter, maybe before the starter, the first steps?
I think the very influential part for me in my life was that I went to Bangladesh at the age of 19, and I'm trying to learn from the NGO Deepshika, from a development organization, what is sustainable development. So I had very much had this passion for development work, for social justice, for the ecology and the health of our planet. And at the same time, I felt this creative urge. I really wanted to create something and wanted to, I had this creative itching in myself, and these two passions, I didn't quite know how to combine this, but then I found the missing link, which is earth. And for me, this is a material that really reacts on our two main challenges, I would say at the moment, which is climate change and also social justice. So with earth, I can, it's practical, it's everywhere available. You can use it just by build just by using your hand. If you have no other means, you can use it also in a high-tech way. You can also combine these things. And you can create a lot of work opportunities for people, and good work opportunities. And I think that makes it so social, because the main part of the building projects that I realized so far really remained with people, with the craftsmen, and not just went into big industries. And of course, it's also extremely ecological material, because you can just take it from the ground, you can recycle it as often as you want, you can return it back to the ground and plant your garden on top. So for me, that's a wonderful circle, and that really is building in harmony with nature for me.
How do you manage to work, I will say, alone, like a leader of this team, and to work so far away from Austria for Germany? How it is possible for you?
To go around in Bangladesh and to handle our site and to do these projects, that this built up trust over the 7 years before I started building the school. And I was not alone. I always have a team also that supported me. It was a team of craftsmen from Bavaria, my cousin, for example, then Aga Khan, the architect from Berlin, for the first building. And then, we trained a wonderful team of craftsmen. And for the third building now that we built, the Anna Loeb building that just got the Obel Award, that one was really built entirely by the workers on their own. I just sent the design there. And it was really my employee was there for one short stay, but it was really built on their own. And that was for me incredible to feel, this know-how transfer, or this know-how is really rooted now in the community. And for a certain degree, I'm not needed anymore. Well, the design, they appreciate if they get this from me, but the building process, this is really now anchored in the community. So building up a team, building up know-how is very essential for me. And then, not to just go spread the projects all around the globe. I'm focusing on Ghana right now, on Bangladesh, and of course my own surrounding like Germany and Austria. But I'm really trying to be a bit longer on the places so that I can really build up something and can also follow up and evaluate what I've been doing or we've been doing, and to do better and to increase the potentials there, and also increase my own know-how.
You have many awards, I will say some of them. Prix Aga Khan d'Architecture in 2007. You've got also the Sustainable Architecture Award, Global Award in France some years ago. And also you have the Emerging Architecture Award, and also the Loeb Fellowship of Award, and also from RIBA. So you have also been exposed in diverse situations, like museum in London and MoMA in New York, and in Venice la Biennale. So do you think the parity is currently arrived, especially in Germany?
It's still a way to go. It's still, you have to work harder as a woman. And I found it the moment, you know, I became a mother. That moment was more difficult for me, because then it helps when you are, you know, at all the events, and, you know, build up the network and keep that network alive and strong and everything. Then you get commissions, but it's very difficult as a mother. You have to say no to a lot of events because you have to stay with your child, or have to take her with me. So she was also very much along with me, which is incredible amount of energy needed, you know, if you want to handle a site, include your child in the whole process. And so it takes quite a load when you come in this situation, you know, trying to balance the work as an architect and as a mother. It works, but it's quite an energy effort. But I felt, you know, you have to work harder as a woman that people trust in you, that you can handle also big budgets, that you and very often, you know, I'm an emotional person and I'm an intuitive person, and the facts and the rational thinking in architecture is still something that you know, when we see it in architecture schools, you have to argue well, you have to bring your, you know, all facts and figures, then you're strong. And if you just say, well, I did it because I felt it was right, you know, this, you know, I just deeply feel and I'm connected with my intuition, and I act out of this intuition, and not because of this analysis and all these things, that has not the same value yet. And I'm really also working as you know, as a teacher. I'm also trying, you know, to strengthening you know, this the appreciation of intuition. First, you know, within yourself, that you trust it, because I mean, every design process is a decision-making process. And when you're well connected with your intuition and your inner self, then you can take this decision much faster. And also, I think they are probably more holistic, and also in the end lead to a more, you know, surprising architecture, and also to a more humane architecture. If you're not just holding on to grids and figures and parameters the entire time. So this is something that I feel not equal at the moment, you know, this kind of valuation of the emotional parts. Also, I see that I'm very much also focused on an harmonious process, not just on a harmonious building, an outcome. And this process is just as important as the outcome, but it's not yet really, again, appreciated. You know, you see the pictures in the magazines, and the process is something that I think, because it's probably something very emotional, and also very, yeah, it's probably, I've seen it a lot working with men and working with women, that for the women, this process became more important sometimes than for the men. And I think, you know, it's not just, you know, reaching the aim as fast and as efficient as you can, but also, you know, taking the people along with you, and, you know, building up a community. For me, that is extremely important. You know, architecture has the potential not just to build up buildings and structures, but also to build up communities. And that power is something that is absolutely essential, because that's really contributing to a healthy society. And this power, I think, probably we are a bit more aware as women, because we have this connection to emotions, maybe a bit easier than men. I'm not saying that men cannot do that at all. I'm not saying that, but I think from, you know, the way we're brought up, I think, you know, emotions, we are probably more connected to that.
You answer to the prize of women architect. Why did you give this answer?
Oh, this is very dear to me, this award, because I feel very different as a female architect than a male architect. I really feel a difference. And I think we also need to support each other and celebrate ourselves and say, yes, here we are, you know, and this is us. And I'm also super happy to share this award with Benedetta, because I really appreciate and love her work a lot. And I think that's it all about, you know, that we support each other and we embrace each other's creativity and you know, yeah, radiate also a bit to show, you know, this is female architecture, or this is us, this is women in architecture. And
you received the International Prize of Women Architect for 2020. What are the benefits for the agency?
Yeah, we totally celebrated in the office. We were extremely happy and moved because we are also a very female team. We only have one quota man, but he also celebrated with us. So we really enjoyed it a lot. And of course, it's always good to get appreciation. That always gives you know, an energy, like the wind from the back and under the wings, you know, and say, yeah, you're on the right track. And this is, it just gives us, again, energy to move on and to go forward.
So we send us the address.
Yes.
And can you speak of some of your best projects you like very much, even Bangladesh or so, anywhere you want?
Yeah, I like the Ananda Loy building very much. The last building, yeah, my team and I, we were able to build in Bangladesh. And for me, everything comes together in that one. You know, it's like it's a center for people with disabilities. So for people that were not visible before, and give them, you know, some dignity and a space and a place. And that is combined with the workshop for making this clothes for our Dipti textiles. And so this, you know, the textile part comes together, the architecture part, and especially the support for underprivileged people. That is for me always very important. And this building is also diving more into the material characteristics of the clay and the bamboo, especially the clay, because before I always did, you know, straight walls more and try to be accurate. And with this time, the walls are dancing, you know, and especially it's a ramp that is dancing around the structure. And it also kind of shows it's something beautiful when you are out of the mold, you know, if you're not following the grid, if you're celebrating the extraordinary. And I think that's a very important sign also for people with disabilities. You know, there's a beauty in a diversity. And this building wants to transmit this message. And I think that's working quite well. So I love this one very much. At the same time, we just did also a birth space, a space for giving birth in Austria. And it was a community, also crowdfunded project. And we were together like 3 women and 1 man. It was Anka Dürr and Sabrina Sommer and Martin Rauch and myself. And we got together and designed, you know, like a very pregnant structure, like with a big belly, and all surrounded with earth. And the idea was, you know, we have spaces for almost everything, but we don't have a space really for giving birth. And that's probably the biggest service a woman can do, you know, is, I mean, this is just incredible act. And that we have no space for that, you know, we have to go to the hospital to give birth, or, you know, or we do it at home, of course. But in every culture, there have been also spaces for this, and that's kind of disappearing. It's moved to a hospital, but then, you know, the baby is coming out of the mother's womb, and then suddenly you have this extreme light. All the surfaces are, you know, hygienic, but nothing to you want to touch. So we were wondering, you know, how should a space look like that you want to be born into, you know, that it's less stressful that it's the least stressful and a good atmosphere for the mother, that where she feels embraced, the mother, and also the baby, of course, when it comes to earth. And so we built this very pregnant kind of belly out of clay, and then we covered it, because it's Vorarlberg, it's Austria. We covered it with a lot of wooden shingles with all sorts of different red colors and shapes, and it looks like a very funny creature.
Some words about the project, like the one in Chinese you have done?
Yeah, the Chinese hostels look a little bit like the bamboo weaving over there. So they're kind of huge, loose bamboo weaving structures. And for me, that's also a symbol, you know. Yes, there are limited resources on a planet, and we have to take care of these resources. But then at the same time, the nature of nature is not just limitation. There's also, you know, this abundance. And if you work with materials that are there in abundance, like the bamboo, like the earth, you know, you can also go in expressive shapes and also celebrate the, you know, the beauty of nature. And that's the bamboo hostels. And then we are just right now working also in Ghana for Don Bosco, for the Salesians, to make a campus for education, for several educational trainings. So we start with the first building, and we also do it in clay and with the local materials and the local craftsmen. So it is very much also, you know, in the history of development, work, aid, missionary time, colonialism, you know, it was always a top-down, you know, imposition of structures, shapes, patterns, and materials that not relate and are not in dialogue with the existing cultures there. So we are really trying to kind of root back to the traditions there and improving the building qualities and the building techniques and the spaces in a way that they really relate to the needs and dreams and aspirations of the people now. But not changing the material, because we think earth is a fantastic material. It doesn't need to be changed. It's just a question of our architectural creativity, you know, to use this old material for today.
Do you have some recommendation for this situation of women in architecture to improve the situation?
I think the advice I would give that, you know, you support your colleagues, you support women in, you know, either in work, at home, somewhere, you know, you're trying really to support each other. That's the most important thing, you know, not to get in this kind of, you know, jealousy or whatever, but really supporting each other and lifting each other up. I think that's very important. And we celebrate the 8th of March normally a lot in the office. I mean, this year we have to do it differently, but we also do something because we start a campaign for our Dipti textiles that enables women in Bangladesh to, you know, to stand on their own feet, to be financially more independent, and that also, you know, contributes to dignity and self-confidence. So we will have our online shopping campaign. So please, everyone who wants to support humane good working conditions for women in the rural areas of Bangladesh, we would be happy if you support our Dipti textiles.
With
it's
pleasure.
Dipti.